So I'm going to do my second Victory Garden tour. I just spent probably about 4 hours planting seeds. I had a huge basket. Let's see. Right there. It was all nice and neat and stacked in a row. But they're paper clipped based on, say it's carrots, and then there's different varieties of carrots that I wanted to plant. But I wanted to go ahead and show you that right here I've planted a whole row of different varieties of potatoes. I can't remember if it was in my last video, but I think I just did this recently. I had the bed ready, but not the potatoes planted. So there's potatoes in here, and there's a different variety in each section where I've got little tiny tags. So I have white potatoes, and I have russets, and I have gold potatoes, and there's a homestead sampler from Haas Tools. But I started a bed here that has different types of lettuce. What I want is to be able to have the baby greens and then later have them grow into bigger heads of lettuce. But I think it's mostly, I can't remember the name, but they're kind of like the soft lettuces. It's not romaine, it's not iceberg head lettuces. They're the leafy lettuces. And then I planted different spinach here, a couple different varieties of spinach. And then I planted different varieties of kale. And then I planted Swiss chard in this bed here. And then you can see my potatoes are doing well in this little bed. I have red homestead potatoes and then red Norland seed potatoes in here. I didn't cut them up into eyes. I just planted them whole. I'm experimenting. Plus, because I'm not feeling well, and maybe because of space, I decided not to cut them into eyes. But all my potatoes are planted now. And then in this bed, I decided to do different varieties of beets. And then in between the trellises, I have different varieties of radishes. I really like radishes in salads, and I just went a little bit crazy with different varieties. One of them's a watermelon radish, where the outside is green and the inside is red. And then there's French breakfast radishes planted in here, and so they're long ones. And then there's others that are round, and then I think I did Easter egg colored radishes in this bed right here. And then I have my potatoes still growing very nicely in the bags. So I have in ground and in a raised bed, and then I have in these fabric pots. So I have different ways that I'm growing the potatoes. And in the potatoes over here, I've got organic, and I can't pronounce, I can't even read my writing. It's a type of russet. I'll show you. There. Then I have organic Burbank russet, organic rainbow mix, organic purple fiesta, Olay, and then organic Norland red. That must be a duplicate of what's over there. On the trellises, I started cucumbers on each side, different varieties. I have, what was it? What did I decide? Oh, I have Boston pickling cucumbers, and I have Chicago. And I am sorry that I am not that good at, I'm not very good at accents. Atticus is like so stellar with accents, and he studied this one for a role as a alien space monkey. Gosh, I don't remember. Uh, it's kind of like the puppies series, but this was on monkeys. And so anyway, he was an alien one, and I think that was a different one. He's done so many voiceovers that now I'm getting them mixed up. But he did a kind of like a, all right, it's not even a Boston. Now I'm thinking it's in New York. It was just in New York because he would say coffee, 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 coffee. That's how he'd get started with his accent. Anyway, we're talking about cucumbers, and so I planted Chicago and Boston cucumbers to come up these trellises, and the sun is out, up these trellises here. And then I went ahead and I planted different types of, I think it's like national pickling cucumbers. And then I'm trying something new that I saw on a video, and they're silver slicers. And the company is Hudson Valley that I got them from, and the packaging was gorgeous until my hands got on them, and because they're covered in mud, and it's really hard to keep a package nice, and I just wasn't able to wash my hands before. But it's actually like a work of art. So I guess they don't need to be trellis, so I have them in the center, and then I have the trellising type of cucumber, one on each side. I have the hiccups. I'm really hungry too. Nothing here yet. No tomatoes yet. I'm waiting for the 99-cent store. I went ahead and I did this whole shebang thing with the grow lights and what have you. And my tomatoes don't look that great. So I'm waiting for my good old 99-cent store tomatoes to come in properly. And then I can start planting my 21 spaces of these little trellises. I like them. I know you can use cattle panels, but for right now, since I went ahead last year and I bought these, and they worked fine, I'm going to use them. And then in this bed here, I have different types of carrots. And I have rainbow carrots, I have short carrots, I have long carrots, and I'm just... Carrots did not turn out well, but then I didn't have the raised bed with 12 inches of growing space from there to there. So, oh, and then on the edges of each bed, doink, 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 like right there, all these edges have different varieties of zinnias because you have to have your pollinators. The pollinators are the flowers that draw in the bees, and then the bees pollinate all the things that grow little flowers, which will eventually grow a fruit or a vegetable. And by the way, tomatoes are fruits. Yes. So, and then probably I would imagine that it helps my peppers too. I'm still looking for jalapeno peppers at Green Thumb Nursery. When I was a kid, it was called Green Thumb / Green Arrow Nurseries. But I went around in a circle, and I'm back at the beginning where I was. I have another tiny planter like this one here, these two, that I'm going to put there, and I'm going to put onions in that one. So these two are going to be devoted solely to different types of peppers, and I hope I do well. I do not think I am going to be courageous enough to use a pressure canner. I'm still going to grow vegetables, hopefully,